Hi all, welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany. I am a cut flower gardener in Garden Zone 6A, but today we are doing a wedding floral design series. That's really how I got my start in the flower world, was floral design. So I thought it would be really fun to, well, it's the dead of winter, as you can see the snow behind me, to just do a whole series about floral design. So today I'm going to be making a compote centerpiece. And just to show you here, I have some chicken wire, and then I use this Oasis clear tape to just really keep the chicken wire in place. I've also filled it to the absolute brim with water. And yeah, we're going to design in that today. I picked a pretty colorful palette, and I'll show you as I go. But I picked up these tulips, which are stunning. Really important when you're making an arrangement to have a mix of elements. Sorry, I'm going to grab my scissors. And with that, you're going to want a focal flower. So think, garden rose, as spring's coming up, peonies, in the summer, dahlias, like those bigger blooms. And then you're also going to want some filler flowers. So for me, my filler flowers today are these mums. They're really pretty, but you just want a variety of shapes and sizes. So really just think about it that way. You also want something that's going to give the arrangement some height. So I have some of this here. And then I have some fun greenery too that I think will give it like a really cool height to it. And then here are some roses that I picked up as well. And I also picked up some garden roses, which are stunning and like this really pretty deep pink red. So this is what we'll make today, but definitely stay tuned in the future if you could like and subscribe. That would be amazing. We'll definitely be doing a modern corsage video. I'll also be doing a modern boutonniere video and a how-to with making a bridal bouquet as well as bridesmaid bouquets. So really the whole gambit. I'll also be doing a table runner video to show you how to do that. So more to come definitely in the future, but excited to have flowers throughout the house. And again, in this pause, I do plan to start some more seeds this upcoming week and I'll share that, but there's a little bit of a pause with the winter. So this I thought would be something fun to share with you all, and excited to have you here. And thanks so much for watching. One more thing I wanted to speak to is, so I previously was a floral designer and I no longer have my business license active. So all of these flowers are from Trader Joe's, and I want this video to feel really accessible to everyone. So these are flowers that you can go and pick up at your, local Trader Joe's. I'm sure that I think at Costco too, you can order flowers. So definitely wanted this to feel accessible to everybody. I picked these flowers all up at Trader Joe's. So something really simple you can do as well, if this is something you're interested in doing. Okay, so I wanted to bring you in as I get started. These are my flower shears that I'm using, and I'll link them below. You definitely want a good sharp pair of flower shears as you go and design. I gave all of my flowers a fresh cut and put them in a bucket of water, which I'll show you here. And this is super important because you're going to want to make sure they have the longest life they can have to make it to whatever event you're doing them for. But they're really, really, really pretty. Look at them. But again, this is just a bucket, and hot tip at Trader Joe's, you can ask for a bucket as you're leaving with your flowers, because what's really great is then they're also transported home in water and they stay nice and fresh. So really how I like to start my arrangements, and actually I'm going to grab a turntable really quick. This is helpful as well. Let me find mine. Here it is. A turntable is really helpful to make sure that you're seeing it from all angles. So this piece that I'm going to design is going to be, you're going to be seeing it from all angles. So you're going to want to be able to spin as you design and see what it looks like from every angle. I do love to design one-sided arrangements, but of course, naturally, like if this is going on a table, then it's going to be seen from all angles. And then what I'll do is start to go through and add in my greenery. You do not want anything to fall below the water line, because that will, of course, make the water pretty nasty and not keep your flowers fresh. So I like to just kind of design as I go. I'll start with greenery to really kind of fill in and give the arrangement a base and kind of start to play with shape too. So we're going to just add this throughout. And then let's see. What's nice too is you can take one piece like this and really maximize it by just going in here, giving it a cut, pulling off the bottom, And then you've got a few pieces of greenery versus just one, so less waste there as well. You come in here. You want to try to like hide the fact that you cut it, so I try to cut it at like an angle, and I'll tuck these kind of in a lower spot too. I love the little top of this as like more of like that purpley pink. I think that looks really pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and go in here and give this one some space. But again, you're gonna wanna just give it a spin every now and then, see how it looks, and keep going. Oops, there you go. I love this like hint of purpley pink everywhere right now. It's really nice. All right. So once I feel like I'm getting a good base with one greenery, I'll switch to another. It's really important to have multiple varieties of greenery. I think it just makes the arrangements more interesting and dynamic as well. So you're not just seeing the same leaf shape throughout the design, you're seeing, you know, multiple. I'm gonna grab this. I think this is Pittosporum here. I'm just gonna start adding some of this in too. It also just, of course, helps hide your mechanics, so nobody can see the chicken wire afterwards, which is important too. I'll try to move a little quicker here. I'll go ahead and add that guy. And scale is important too. So you can see I'm kind of breaking these larger pieces down because of the scale of the vase. I want it to match with that too and align with that better. So I don't want it to be such a big piece of greenery that it looks out of place in this scale of vase. So again, we'll give it a spin. I'm going to keep going, adding more throughout here. Kind of want that at more of an angle. Awesome. So I like to take it just flower by flower and piece by piece. I think to me it's easier. And then towards the end, I'll start getting a little wild and fill in where I want to fill in. But I think that's just been incredibly helpful to me in design, is to take it piece by piece. Something to consider as well, and I've talked about this in past videos, but you want to make sure that you don't build it too high. As much as I love, obviously varying height is important, but you don't want to build it too high where somebody can't see the other person across the table, because of course at a wedding, like, people are going to be sitting and having conversations together. So you just want to be mindful of that and make sure that, you know, your guests will still be able to see over the arrangement as you're designing. So give it a spin. All right. And I like to go in with these fillers as well, because this is almost, you know, kind of like a greenery as well, but it's going to add a nice textural pop. So we'll go in with some of this to give some texture to the arrangement. And again, I'm just going to cut pieces off because this piece is too big. Maybe add those in later, but I'm going to give some balance here. And twisting helps with the chicken wire. If you're not, you know, struggling to get a piece in, just kind of twist it back and forth. Take a little bit more off. There you go. I can go in with these like extra pieces too and just add a little pops of texture on the outside. And again, we'll keep giving it spins throughout to take a look and see. Something I'm actively working on is trying to get faster at designing. I feel like I really take my time with it, which is also great. Like, do what you want, follow your heart. But I sometimes make these videos and I'm like, I can't believe that took me so long to make that arrangement. Again, I'm trying to be really mindful of the height here, so keeping an eye on that. sometimes it's nice to take these little like bits and bobs and kind of fill in that lower piece of the puzzle. So we're hiding the mechanics a little bit more. Also, something important too as you design is to save these, because these little bits and bobs can really help with other elements of your design process. So something like this, you know, I might save it for a boutonniere because it has like a really fun texture there. And you can just get an extra, you know, little cup of water and have it next to you as you design. So anything that like breaks off but still has a stem to it, things like that, you can kind of keep in one place and save for both boutonnieres, corsages, and that smaller wedding work too. So next I'm going to go in with these beautiful mums. And again, we'll kind of scale this piece back for this particular arrangement. And now if I had a larger vase, like I would just use this whole stem likely, but this vase is pretty small, so I don't want to do that. I also feel like flowers look more natural in either a set of 5 or a set of 3. So something to keep in mind when you're designing. That's just my preference, and I feel like more seen in nature, so it just feels good to me, but you can really truly do what you would like. All right. Again, these little bits and bobs would be so great for corsages and boutonnieres, so something to save as you go. Anything that's broken like this, just cut it off. If I start to get really messy, I'll kind of just push it out of my way so I can see what I'm working with still. Again, you want to make sure no greenery is falling below the water lines. Like what I like to do is just run my hand down, make sure I'm taking that greenery off. Make this one a little shorter. This one does not want to go in. There you go. All right, I'll probably go in with these, my focal flowers, which are these beautiful garden roses. I cannot wait until my bare root roses come in the mail this year. I think it's gonna be so fun to plant those out, and I really enjoyed last year being able to bring roses into my home all season long. It was so nice. So I'm definitely, that's my new addiction, is buying bare root roses to plant each year and really grow my rose garden outside. With roses, just be careful to look at this. If you see a really, you know, a guard petal that you can pop off, go ahead and do that. If it's looking a little junky, pop off those petals on the outer side of the rose to just make sure it looks good in the arrangement. Let me go ahead and go through. I'm going to add some a little bit lower. Trying to get in some like varying height to make it look more natural is important too. So as you go through, just make sure you're kind of popping them at different depths as you go. I love these tulips. One fun hack with tulips is if you peel back the petals, it can make it look like a totally different flower. So you're just going to put your thumb in at the base here and pull it back. Oh, well, I split that one, but try to do it backwards. The inside of a tulip is just really pretty. So this is something fun you can do to really change the shape of the flower as you're designing. Now I'm kind of going to bounce back and forth a little bit. I have these roses that are really pretty too. Again, these are like that yellowy with like the red tinge on the end, and I think it really just ties the colors beautifully in here. So I'm going to kind of go around and pop a mix of these in along with my tulip friends. I'm not going to open up all the tulips, but you can do some to kind of create that, you know, variety of shape in there. think I do want to do at least 5 of these big garden roses because they're just so pretty. And I want them to be seen from every angle in the arrangement. I'll be completely honest, I feel like these aren't the freshest flowers that I've ever gotten from Trader Joe's, but I did randomly shop on a weeknight, so I'm not sure how long these have been sitting out. Another tip with roses is you can kind of just give it a little twirl down like this to try to open them up a little bit, get them looking a little bit fuller and ready to go. We're going to keep spinning this one. You can also blow in them too, so you can just go and open them up that way as well. But really the mix of the two can be good to just get them a little bit more open and full looking within the arrangement. And again, be sure to peel off any of those yucky petals on the outside that aren't looking so hot to really clean it up. Also, with roses, they really want to be cut at a sharp angle to get good hydration. So make sure you're doing that as you're, cutting them, either when you initially cut them, also when you're like recutting them to put them in an arrangement too. I'm going to keep spinning it. I'll probably open up another tulip here. I will be more gentle about it this time. Last time I was a little rough with flipping the petals back. So I will go in and be gentle. Again, you just want to push your thumb really at like the base here to open it. I think this will be really pretty. And this is also easier to do on, tulips that aren't double, but you can still see that it's looking like just a completely different shape, which adds a little bit of more interest within the arrangement as well. Decide where to pop this one. I think we're going to go here. All right. See, I think I want to do some more mums in this section. Peel this back, get all the greenery off. So again, you can kind of take a look and see as you're, getting closer to being done. I like to really come down to the level of the arrangement as if I was sitting in a chair and start to give it a spin and see where there feels like a hole or feels like there needs to be more. Like on this side, I know I want to add a pretty garden rose because right now it's not really able to be seen from this angle. I'm going to go ahead and come in here and kind of just put it a little lower than my other flowers. See? I also might do one more of these fillers in this particular section too. All right. Also, where I want to start covering mechanics, I'll go in with some additional greenery as I see what that looks like, going through too. I'm going to pull this one out and get tulip going over here. What's nice too is some of my tulips are a little bit smaller and they have a little different color happening on them. So it's fun to really take a look at your flowers, because within a bunch of them, you can have different, sizes and kind of color range. So kind of be mindful of that as you go through. It's fun to mix it up and, include different elements like this. But even though it's the same flower, it looks definitely different than the other tulip in here. All right, I'm going to maybe add one more piece of this too. All right, so I'm going to pause this and I'll show you the finished product, because I'm kind of just taking an extra look at it, but I don't want to bore you with the rest of me adding to this arrangement. So we'll go ahead and I will, show you the finished product shortly. Okay, I wanted to give you a quick spin of the finished product. I love her. I think she's really pretty. I absolutely love color. I think that it just really makes a wedding feel so magical when it's super colorful. Obviously, every wedding is magical, but I just am a really big fan of color. So I think this one's really fun. I love the way it came out, and I love the different textures and greeneries in it, and hope this is helpful. I think, certainly wedding design can be such a fun way to really kind of be creative in your events. And this can be for any event, really. It doesn't have to just be wedding design, but I think it's really full and fun. And yeah, thanks for hanging out today. Again, like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a whole series on different design projects for weddings, and happy to have you along the way.